Hi everybody, how are you? I'm Kayla and this is Flosstube number 10. I hope you're doing well. Today is Friday, February 18th. Can't believe we're more than halfway through February already. And I don't think this is going to be a very long one. I did quite a bit of stitching, but it wasn't very varied, so I don't know. We'll see. I also have some past quilt finishes to show you at the end. And yeah, let's just get started. Hope you guys are doing well. Anything new with you guys? This week has been pretty calm. Last week we had to replace our hot water heater and our oven broke in the same week. Luckily though, my husband was able to fix the oven. He just had to order a part and was super awesome and fixed that. So, but we did replace the hot water heater. I'm just grateful we were able to, and we have hot water again. But yeah, cold week in February isn't really the best time to lose hot water. But anyway, it was fine. So that's handled, that's done. This week has been not as eventful as last week, except the kids had a cold, but they're on the mend. So yeah, let's get into it. So anyway, I was showing you my book of days. So I have a finish. It's not FFO'd yet, but I finished this. I can't believe I finished it actually. I need to really get a board, one of those white board things, you know, that people use and hold their stuff up on. Is this gonna work? Okay, I finished Quaker Handwork by Brenda Gervais. And I love it so much. What did it say about this? It's on 36 count antique ivory. I used almost all of the called for threads except for two, which I subbed out DMC. I have it written here. Gentle Arts Harvest Basket and Gentle Arts Caramel Corn. The Harvest Basket symbol, I subbed in 612 from DMC, and then I was going to use Sandcastle, which is a overdyed thread for the caramel corn, but I decided it was too close to 612, so I just subbed in a crew by DMC. I love it so much. Yesterday after the kids and I finished school and we did our shipping thing that we needed to do, we went over to Hobby Lobby because I wanted to find something that I could put it in. I was thinking about ordering a custom frame because it finished on 36 count. It finished at 6x10, which, you know, is not a standard size for a frame, unfortunately. So I was thinking about ordering a custom frame. And I found one on sale at pictureframes.com, which is where I order my custom frames from. But the shipping is like $20 and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So I thought maybe I could find something at Hobby, like a decor piece, and fill it in. So this is what I found. It says Rise and Shine, it's coffee time, which is cute, but I'm not going to use it for that. This is just over 6 inches tall and like 10.5 inches wide. So it's going to be perfect. I'm just going to mount Quaker Handwork onto like mat board with some batting and then I guess, you know, glue it in there. And this was half off of $14.99, so it was like $7.50 or something like that, which was fantastic. I don't know if there's a number here if anyone's interested. I'll just hold that up in case anyone cares. But yeah, that's the plan. Maybe I'll do that today or I'll get it done this weekend. And so then I'll be able to hang it up and I'll love it. My husband's home, so I feel like really self-conscious. But anyway, here it is. I love it so much. I'm so glad I decided to start it, even though I have other projects that I could be working on. But you know, you gotta stitch what you love and what excites you. So yeah. So I don't think I showed the pattern. Oh no, hold on, Murphy. Okay, sorry about that. My dog was you know, protecting the house. except he's not, but he thinks he is. Okay, so that's my finish. Last week when I did the spinny wheel thing, the random whip picker for myself to know what I should spend some time on. I always say last week, 2 weeks ago when I did that. It chose Angelic Vision by Theresa Koget. This is the pattern. I hadn't worked on this for a very, very long time. I love it and I can't wait for it to be finished, but it's very confetti heavy. It's almost all full coverage. So it's not exactly the style of stitching that I typically gravitate towards, but I do love this. So anyway, I did take a little video. It's like a 5-second video because when I insert pictures, because I don't know how to do it a better way. I know there's other ways, but I don't know it. But when I insert pictures, it kind of does like a slideshow thing. Like it just like zooms through the picture like that. It's not really good. So I took a 5-second video to show where it was. And before, so I guess I'll insert that here. And then here is where I got to, which it was a lot of stitching. Now she has eyeballs and eyebrows, which is very exciting because before she was just like, I guess from here down, and her hair is a lot more filled in. Her neck is almost completely filled in. And I've started working upwards onto like her, you know, hair piece or head piece, halo maybe, I'm not sure, right here. So quite a bit done on her. I'm really pleased. And even though it's not the typical stitching I like to do as far as it's a lot of confetti and all of that, I really enjoyed working on her. It's so exciting to see it come together. Sorry if you can hear my son blowing his nose. So yeah, that is that. So between, oh, he's blowing his nose still. So between, I lost my train of thought. Between Quaker Handwork and Angelic Vision, that took up most of my time for stitching. I did work a bit on a Medina, the piece that I've reproduced. And I did have a new start yesterday morning too. I have so many big projects that I love. Not so many. I have a lot of big projects that I love and want to work on. Huckleberry Farm, Dutch Sampler, Froth and Bubble, Grace Bridges. So yeah, and the other ones, the Worthy Brown and Bloom Chalkful. I think that's it. I'm probably missing one. Anyway, I'm so excited about all of them, but then I'm so excited to start stuff too. And now I'm kind of like, well, if I don't start it, I won't finish it. So I'll start something new once in a while. Anyway, yesterday I started Sheep Heap by Plum Street Samplers. I did mention last time that I was looking to start this soon. So I went ahead and did it. There's not very much done already, but this is the fabric I'm using, 32 count Murano Car in the gray check. It's Zweigart from Hobby Lobby. And okay, shockingly, I need to move the needle. There's a shock, right? I always have to move the needle. Sorry. I have not very much done, but I got the border outline done and a couple berries started. And the sheep's head kind of overlaps the border there, so that's why there's a hole. But it's really cute. It's kind of nice to hold on to something small. You know, when I stitch in hand and I usually just like bunch all the fabric up in my right hand and I stitch with my left hand. And I actually do the poke and stab method, which I know a lot of people who stitch in hand use the sewing method. I don't love how my stitches look when I do it. I know if I just practice more, they'll probably look better, but I'm pretty happy doing the poke and stab method. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, I usually bundle up whatever fabric in my right hand. And if it's a big piece, after a while, you know, your hand gets kind of sore. So sometimes it's nice just to have a little thing that you can like, it's not a lot to hold, which is nice. So that's that. And that's how it'll eventually look, besides the background being checked and not tan. Also, I'm using all the called for, the conversion to DMC from the chart. That's what I'm trying to say. It all calls for mostly Weeks dye works and a couple of classic color works. But Paulette provides a DMC conversion, which is very nice. And that's what I'm using. Okay. Yeah, see, this is going really fast. That's pretty much all my stitching already. But I do have a previous finish that I want to share with you guys. And then we'll spin for my new project, focus project thing to work on for the next couple of weeks. I did get a couple of things in the mail too, and then I'll show quilts. Okay, so here is my previous finish. This is a freebie from Not Forgotten Farm. It's called Shamrock Basket. And if you Google Not Forgotten Farm freebies, the page on her blog comes up and it's in there. So I used all the called for DMC colors. I think this is on 32 count. Yeah, it's 32 count. I think it's light mocha, which I had left over from another project. And it's backed with some Lady Dot Creates velveteen. I'm like a troll. Okay, sorry. It's backed with Lady Dot Creates velveteen, and I have some Lady Dot Creates chenille trim around the edge. This is like the petite one. I don't know if it's actually called petite, but she has thicker ones and the thinner ones. I had meant to order the thicker one, but I actually ordered the thinner one, which is fine. And honestly, I just glued it on with Aileen's tacky glue. A lot of times I'll sew trim on, but I didn't this time, and it's worked great. So, and this is just filled with fiberfill because that's something I almost always have. And I really like it. I stitched it about this time last year. That's why I'm showing it to you now. So yeah, really enjoyable. This is actually 2 different greens and all the shamrocks and the hearts. And I just love it. Sorry, the lighting's kind of weird. It's actually sunny outside, and I have this ring light here, and I have it on the warm setting because the cool ones seem to make everything look washed out. And I don't know if I made the right choice or not, so I hope you guys can see okay. Yeah. All right, so that's that. I think I always say that, love that. And then I did get a couple of things in the mail, like I said. This next group of 3 things, I had actually ordered the day after my birthday with the gift card that my dad and stepmom gave to me to 1 through 3 Stitch. I had received most of that order, you know, like the following week, but 3 of the things ended up being back ordered, even though they showed in stock when I ordered them, if that makes sense. But I did finally get them this past week. So the one thing was Mary Mouse by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I mean, when I ordered it, I thought I would stitch it for Christmas this year, but since I didn't get it till halfway through February, maybe for next year, we'll see. I love it. And then 2 little pieces of fabric. This is a 1/16 of a yard smoky pearl in 32 count by Zweigart. And the other was a 1/16 yard 32 count lemon yellow. So yeah, this I had in mind for a Thanksgiving project that I was going to stitch for Thanksgiving this past year, but maybe for next year too. I've got a lot of maybes for next year's, but this was for the Heartstring Samplery freebie, Grateful Every Day. I think her sample's actually on an orange, and I thought this looked a little oranger on the website, but it's called lemon yellow, so I assumed it would end up being yellow, and it is, but I think it'll look nice. So, and I'll probably only use about half of it, so I'll have some left for something else. And then the last thing I ordered, and this was actually recent, it wasn't like back in September. Oh, sorry, my kids are yelling. Okay, I did get this book from Amazon. It was like $17, which I think was super reasonable. Yeah, because it says $24.99 on the back. So, And this is Fables and Fairy Tales to Cross Stitch. French Charm for your stitch work by Veronique and Ginger. I know that I just butchered her name. I didn't give it at all the proper pronunciation, and I'm so sorry. But anyway, my kids are a little bit old for this, but we, you know, obviously read fairy tales and fables and stuff. And I don't know, I just thought it was so sweet. It's got a lot of projects, a ton of charts. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry everybody. All right, so yeah, it's got a lot of projects and just really sweet things. I'm trying to find the one that, like, okay, the chart is like right on the other page, but like 3 little pigs. Ah. And, you know, there's little projects to go along with. There's Puss in Boots. Oh, Little Red Riding Hood. This was another one that I really loved. And it kind of like there's instructions in the back for how to do the bag too. So I don't know. I just thought it was really sweet, and I thought it was really, really cheap. So I was like, I want it. Okay. And there's like princesses, and there's for fables, not just fairy tales. It's quite sweet. Like the tortoise and the hare, all kinds. So I don't want to like bore you to death, but so cute. Okay. I forgot my iPad to do the spinny thing. I'll be right back. I thought I was so organized this time. Turns out I wasn't. Okay. So let's just do the spinny thing, the random wheel picker, to see what I will focus on this week. I think it's all up to date. I actually did get that part situated. Sheep heap. Okay, that's fine. I will do that. But I have to pick other stuff to work on too besides that. So that's cool. That's so funny that it picked that. Since I just started it yesterday. Okay, so I'm done with stitching talk. I just have a couple of old, simple, very simple quilts that I have made that I thought I could share with you guys. So if you're not into that, I'll see you next time, hopefully. So yeah, I've made probably only about 6 or 7 quilts total, but I've been interested in quilting since I was a kid. And I actually did a project probably back in 5th grade, I think. I was in some program in school where it's like if you were doing well enough, then you would come early in the morning if you wanted to be in the program, and you could like pick an area of interest to you and do some project, and then there was like a presentation night type of thing. So I think it was 5th grade. And then, you know, somebody from the community that would volunteer would help you with that, which was actually super cool that they did that. And I chose quilting. And I don't have that quilt with me. It's actually, I gave it to my mom, or she's had it and tried to give it to me. And I was like, no, I don't want it. It's fine. But I did an applique quilt with this. So it was like a bunch of cats in different positions on the little blocks. And I used fabric that was my grandmother's, my mom's mom, for like, you know, accents, like parts of the quilt. So since my mom's mom, my grandma, we refer to her as Nanny, even though she passed away when I was just a couple months old. So, but yeah, so my mom had a bunch of her clothes, and I thought it would be special to use that. So that was when I was in 5th grade. That was the first quilt I made. And the lady who helped me actually, you know, did most of the assembling of the quilt, but she taught me how to applique and stuff, which was pretty cool. I'll try and get a picture maybe of that at some point. And then I have a few quilts here, super simple, that I made, and 2 other quilts that I made are also with my mom. One is just a simple square patchwork quilt, and the other is a quilt that was made with a wedding dress quilt. But she had 2 dresses. I think one she purchased, but it didn't end up working out, but she still had it, couldn't return it. So I used that one too. I used both wedding dresses, and that's a king size quilt actually. but I don't have a picture. Actually, I might have a picture of it, and if I do, I'll insert it, but it turned out really pretty, but it definitely was not my favorite quilt to make. It was very heavy and difficult. My machine broke at like the last seam that I had to do, and I was trying to get it done for Christmas last year. And so I ended up borrowing my dad's machine so I could do the binding, and I tied the quilt. I didn't even quilt that quilt because of the different variety of fabrics and my machine being all messed up. I just tied it, which took a long time, and it was because it's king size. Okay, I haven't showed you a single quilt yet. But anyway, I've been interested in quilting a long time. I have made some quilts, as I just told you, and I'll show you some. But my problem is I like piecing them, but I don't love the quilting process. You know, I have a little home machine, which is great and has been like really great for all these years, but it's still, you know, quite cumbersome to quilt a quilt. And yeah, like I have two quilt tops that are pretty much completely made. One's completely made, the other's almost completely made. I just need the outer border added to it. And they've been sitting around folded up in bins for years because I've just put it off. But I would like to get those done this year. And of course, I'm very interested in, as you'll see, I have made only really simple quilts. And the other quilts that I have put together, one's like a 9 patch that you cut up and then rotate the blocks and then resew them back together. So it looks more complicated, but it's not. And then the other is just a like squares together patchwork, but on point. So they're like that. And that's all with Heather Ross fabric and like a rainbow spectrum. Anyway, so I've only made really simple quilts, but I'm of course super interested in quilts like the Dear Jane quilt and like the Farmer's Wife sampler quilt. I would love to get my act together one day and make those, but we'll see. You know, there's only so much time in a day, so no pressure or anything. Anyway, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna show you these other quilts. Don't look too close. I hope you're not watching me on a big screen because they're full of mistakes and the quilting's not nice and all that. Okay, so this first one is a Halloween quilt, and this I actually made on my old machine. I had this super old machine that we got from Craigslist, maybe from, I don't know how old it was, but anyway, it was like a fold up one. It was metal. It wasn't like from the 1800s or anything. Maybe like the 50s. But anyway, there was a lot of tension issues, but I made it through somehow. So this is just a simple Halloween quilt that I made. I put it out every, you know, fall Halloween time. And they're just, I think they're 10-inch blocks, and then there's hair on it. That's cool. I fussy cut some of the other pieces from this fabric line and then just sewed them on randomly. And I didn't do it like a nice applique where the edges were finished. It was actually intentionally left raw, just so they would get kind of frayed and textured. And I think this fabric I probably just got from Joann's. So it's just that, and the lines are just kind of squiggly quilting lines. Here's the back. I pieced some of it, and then it's just gray. But, you know, I like it. Oh, and I used striped black and orange stripes for the binding. I tried to do curved corners, and some of them I succeeded. Not very well, like the stitching isn't that nice, but you know, it's still curved. But then there's one corner at the bottom that is not curved. I think I gave up at that point. I was so frustrated, and I just, it's fine. I think it's a mitered edge. So that's one. And then this quilt, I mean, that was probably like 11 years ago that I made that. This quilt is, I made this for my stepson probably about 10 years ago, actually. Back in the day, also, I don't remember, I'm pretty sure I saw that on a quilting blog, the Halloween quilt. It was like she did something similar, and I have no idea which blog it's from. If I think of it, I'll put it down below, but I highly doubt I'm going to think of it, just saying. And this one was also, it was a free pattern from another different quilting blog. At that time, I was very into reading quilting blogs and sewing blogs. So this is, I can't go back any farther just to show you. but it's just simple, you know, squares put together with a white border around. And I just picked a bunch of fabrics, you know, that, oh, I think this is upside down. Yeah. That my stepson was into at the time. I mean, he liked Batman, Transformers, fire trucks, tools. I picked some, like, these fabrics I didn't really like, but I picked them because, you know, I knew he would like them. But then I picked some like this, and the robot one I loved. Still love these little robots. And then I just did simple quilting around, like on the borders, just straight lines all the way around. And then each square got, you know, a square of quilting in it. And it's backed in Hot Wheels flannel. Yeah, like not one I would have picked for myself, obviously, but he used to play with Hot Wheels a lot. And the binding is actually, these are like fire ladders, but I thought it was cool because it's kind of striped looking. I mean, it's a, I don't know, 4 feet by 4 feet or something, maybe. Okay, so that's that. And then the last quilt I have to show you guys today is one I made for Liam, my middle son. And this top was made for years. This is another, I had the top made for years, and then I finally last year got my act together and quilted it and bound it and everything. So it's not big enough for his bed, unfortunately. I think he was a little disappointed that it wasn't big enough for his bed. But this actually, I used a lot of fabrics that were left over from Billy Jr.'s quilt that I still had, and I made them into, what are these called? Pinwheels? And this is just backed with a striped sheet, and I used that same stripe but cut, you know, in a different direction to do the binding. The quilting, don't look too close. I was doing free motion quilting for the first time on my machine. It turned out all right, but there's a couple spots where it got real like, ugh. So, you know, but it's fine. This is, I don't know, 4 by, how tall is this? Okay, well now it's touching the floor, so that's how tall it is. I'm 5'1" for reference, so what is it, 3.5 by 4, something like that. It's definitely not big enough for his bed, but. And I have not made my daughter a quilt yet, which I would really like to do at some point, but I also have to finish the other quilts I've started, because there's like only so much space, you know? So, yeah. Okay. Thanks for sticking around for that, if you did. So I'll make sure I work on Sheep Heap, and I will work on other stuff too that's older whips for next video. And I'll try to get Quaker Handwork finished. Yeah. So that's all I have. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great day, and stay healthy and stay happy and keep stitching. Okay, bye.